That's money that's being spent there that we don't need to.
Right.
Cameras out, ready. Once you get, Christie is shade back, or Christie is for smoke, doesn't say that. It started with an S. Okay.
A couple of meetings a month, so they'd be short. Like, have one
Cameras out, we're
every
ready.
2 weeks.
All right, here we go.
Then they do
We got our,
go up.
look at the phone.
We'll go ahead and I guess continue. We have two councils back there. Right, we'll go ahead. Chief has called item number 7, which is public forum. We have a sign-in sheet and we have 5 to sign up. Just to remind all the ones that are going to present a topic, your time is 4 minutes as requested by the council. So we will begin with the first sign-in, which is Jennifer Cole Robinson. Her topic is EDTO search process.
What is your topic again? The EDTO search process. Would somebody kind of give me a cue when I'm getting close to my 4 minutes? I'll keep it as close as possible.
Yeah.
Good try, good try.
Okay.
Thank you, council, for allowing me to address the opportunity to speak to you today. I would like to address concerns regarding the continued search to replace current EDTO Sean Norwell. Since taking the position of Director of Human Services, this council has tasked me to find funding to help our members, particularly funding to address violence against women. EDTO Norwell has been instrumental in my efforts to search for and attempt to secure funding, not only to help but also protect our members. The EDTO position was advertised in the department tasked to handle the selection of appropriate candidates, narrowed the selected candidates down to 2. Interviews were scheduled, and as a director, I was asked to sit on the hiring committee. When I agreed to take the time out of a very busy schedule to conduct these interviews, I was under the belief the directors would act as a hiring committee and conduct the interview with the 2 selected candidates without the interference of administration or council. This did not occur. At the end of the interviews, Chief Bunch instructed the directors to not make a recommendation at this time. He believed there was an applicant who should have been interviewed, but was not, and he was going to find out why this applicant was not selected. We were advised we may be conducting 1 or more interviews with additional applicants. This was over 3 weeks ago. Not only does this interference prolong the instability employees are experiencing, but the applicant Chief Bunch is pushing the directors to interview has a history of violence against women. As a CATUA, an employee, an advocate, and most importantly as a woman, I believe Chief Bunch's continued efforts to press an interview for this applicant is creating a hostile environment and jeopardizing the safety of all female employees. This council, particularly Councilwoman Weber, has asked me to seek funding to assist women experience violence in their life, and I have applied for such funding. Should this council not step in and stop the continued interference and the continued efforts to support an interview for this applicant, not only is it jeopardizing this funding, but it will silence and isolate the vulnerable members you asked me to protect. Native American women experience the highest rate of violence with the lowest prosecution rate. Native American women are victims of violent crime at a rate of 3.5 times the national average. I'm going to repeat this last statement so you can truly understand what it is like as a Native American woman in this world. We experience violent crime rate of 3.5 times the national average. By continuing to support this applicant, Chief Bunch is sending a message to our female employees, as well as our members, that their safety is secondary to his agenda to replace the current EDTO. His continued support of this applicant also goes against one of our most sacred responsibilities we have. That is helping and supporting our elders. Chief Bunch's actions is sending a message not only to the elderly victim who bravely came forward to report the most horrific trauma she will ever experience, but to all future victims, their voices do not matter. Instead of pushing to interview an applicant with a history of violence against women, as a leader, Chief Bunch should be holding this applicant responsible for his actions and decisions and not respecting our women, particularly our elder women. The criminal justice system failed her, as it does so many of our victims. We, as her tribe, should be providing justice for her and every other victim who has yet to come forward. We should be silencing him, not giving him a path to enter the life of this victim and the other silent victims. We should be shunning him, not rewarding him with the opportunity to have the honor of providing services to our tribal members. Holding this applicant accountable for his actions and decisions is not discrimination. I am asking you, as community leaders, elected by the communities who trusted you, communities who believed you would protect their interests, communities where these victims are suffering in silence, to show true leadership and stop this.
36.
If you decide to not stop this chaos, you are sending the same message to your constituents. A message stating, as tribal council, we honor our traditional ways. We say we want to protect and help our women and elders, but only when it is convenient and serves our personal agenda. As leaders, you must make hard decisions. This decision should be easy. Stop the continued interference in the search process and let it end. We have interviewed 2 qualified applicants according to HR. Let that process continue and honor our selection in our recommendation. Thank
Dick?
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
The second one to sign up would be Donald Adair. His topic is the VA. Are you here?
Yeah, you gotta talk about it while ago anyway.
Okay, yeah, Donald's the one that came when I brought that up earlier about, on that question about the elderly gathering. Sir, you have 4 minutes.
Wow. Neil, you're not assuming we do, you're dead fish, you have to force the other thing, you need to go that. It's getting John, man. How much money, is in our planet, do you know something? Last year in November, I understand that veterans were treated very well due to that two veterans. Because there were about 4 or 5 of them that showed up on their meals or whatever. And later in the day, a week later or something like that, there were 4 people that was recognized, and now only one of them was the 2 that was supposed to do it. And so it's, that your brothers, but to yes, they're saying no. Everyone is saying no veterans deal, it was two. And me and George has been communicating and talking, wanting to each department to put in a little bit of money in it. It don't matter what we get, you know, with most of us, it's, I don't know, social media, whatever y'all want to call it, Facebook, and this year, what we want to do is we want to try to have a, kind of like a quarterly meetings, or like it was said, let the veterans know, let us know that they are still recognized, even though, you know, we were a small group. I crashed on their veteran dinner in this past weekend, and the color guard was the tubeless, and there was turkey and holiday. And all the color guards were the tubeless, you know, I said the tubeless in there. And I think it's time we get back to many feel like, you know, the tubeless has to have their own people, their own group to veterans. And what we wanted, what me and George was talking about was see if each department could put this little bit of money in there. Either, it don't matter if it's jacket, cap, whatever, certificate, plaque, or whatever, so they could be recognized. In the past, whenever I was doing that, I gave out certificates. If I hadn't, you know, if each department was getting just a little bit, I tried to do. And I gave out plaques with their names on the appreciation for the services and stuff like that. That's all I'm asking, is that can you all assist in these departments? And that's, you know, I'm not asking $1 million, all I'm asking is to recognize our particular veterans. I believe they deserve better than what they did last year. That's all I got to say. We got 2 things. I yield to that.
Mr. Adair?
Yes.
Could you, I agree with you 100%. I couldn't agree with you more about this. We don't have an organized veterans committee or anything right now. That's what you're saying.
No.
Now, I know that this is important. It's very important to me because I have a first cousin that's a dual veteran. And he just had to be life-flighted the other day because of some heart conditions. But and some of our veterans don't have transportation to veterans hospital and things like that. If I'm supporting, I'm also in total support of this. I don't think anybody here is not. And so I say that we need to get a committee formed, and maybe you can start this committee and get the ball open. If I can assist you anyway, just let you know I'll be glad to do that. I want you, and we got a vehicle. There's a vehicle that's donated from the veterans for that specific reason, like you're talking about. We could, you know, I don't know what your schedule is, but perhaps sometimes if we have some that don't have transportation to the VA, whether it be in Fayetteville. I know one veteran that has to go to Little Rock sometimes, because that's the only place he can get the service that he needs. You understand what I'm talking about? And that vehicle that we have over there is just sitting there, and that is to be used for that purpose. And
Which vehicle is it?
I don't even know what kind. It's a little blue, John.
It's a blue van.
It's a little blue van type thing, but I'm just saying that we need to utilize that for what Mr. Adair is talking about, and I'd like to see that.
And the VA reimburses them for the trips.
Right, and I'd like to, if you need some help getting that going, I'll volunteer to help you out. All right, well, thank you for your effort.
We'll have to get him on insurance.
Yeah, no, you have to be insured. But that's just a matter of getting it done.
Well, that's what me and George was, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up, but that's what me and George talked about. She did tell me that, you know, they had video, but I didn't want to butt in due to the fact that, you know, all this chaos is going on, and I don't want y'all to think that I was talking everything. You know?
Well, no, I don't think that for all, and I appreciate appreciate you bringing this up because it's been one of my concerns about the veterans. Why all of our Katua veterans are the color guard for the CNO? That really bothers me. We have,
It bothered me too, 'cause like I said, I went to their game. And another thing is, on that building, I asked the question, the building they got, it's just not Cherokee Nation alone. It's not CNO alone. My veterans of the VA,
what building are you talking?
the veteran building that they built.
Oh.
It's
For all, probably for all,
For all of it.
all tribes. I mean,
All right, it don't matter.
right.
No, it's just not for them. But they'll tell you it's there, but it's not for them. But, I would appreciate, it's something that, just small things that you can do for the veterans out there, Right now, we've got, all the World War II veterans, probably.
First of all, let's identify all our Katua veterans.
Oh, that's what
Please.
Big George
I'd like
been doing,
to
is,
have them.
got a mailing address more than everything else.
It's a good start. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I really do.
All right. Thanks.
Do you still have my number?
Ma'am?
Do you have my number?
Yes.
Next, Katua newsletter.
I'll call you
Put in there
and
that
whenever
we
you,
want all
whenever
Katua
you're ready to get
veterans
something started, let me know and I'll
So
do it.
that we can, start building up.
I'll put that in there and also we got, met with Sheila in the tag office.
Yeah.
Pulling all the veterans that we have.
Good, yeah,
We're getting that.
that's good. Let's get them identified and let's get them going.
All right, thank you, Donald. The third one to sign up is Ernestine Berry, and her topic is grants. Okay, Ms. Ernestine, you're allowed 4 minutes.
Good morning, council. Good to see you. In regard to the veterans thing, I know that when Georgia Dick was the, when Georgia Dick was the grant writer, she had on her schedule to write a grant to ICDBG for a veterans building. And for a veterans building that they would also have a museum. I know that Little Dave, what was his name? No.
Jacob.
He talked to me about that and said that they were going to have also a museum in there for veterans, whatever they might have to put in a museum. But I know that was on the plan. And, when Georgia left, it kind of all left with her, I guess. And but anyway, I just thought I would add that in. I appreciate the council, and I do realize that the council is the supreme governing body, and that the chief is the head of the supreme governing body, and he has duties to do. He has to make sure, and the council needs to make sure that people are in compliance with your resolutions. We're having a little bit of problem with that, people defining the council, such as the corporate board defying the council, not doing what the council says. Also, in regard to what I just handed to you, this grant that was written and was not funded. Back in March, I requested that the council allow me and Sherilyn to write this grant, the library enhancement grant. And we had worked on it for about 4 months. And we had people lined up to do the activities of the grant. We had 4 PhDs that agreed to help us with our library enhancement grant. And we had various people that were going to come in to SIL, to different things, different activities of the grant. The council gave me permission in March. And when I was gone in April, our Mr. Nordwall decided that he would take it and give it to the grant writer. So he did. And we just got notification in August that the grant was not funded. After we had worked so many months of trying to pull everything together, pulling people together, getting the grant outlined so that, and we even pitched it to IMLS, called up Sandra Toro, who was the head of this program department, called her and told her the plans that we had, the things that we're going to try to do for the tribe, and finding out the educational needs of the tribe and how the libraries could meet those needs, going out into the communities, taking some stuff out there to them. A $200,000 grant is what we were going to write. And then when I got back from Washington, D.C., from going up there to the museum, I found out that it was no longer in my hands, and that the council decision had been defied, and that it had already gone to somebody else to write. That was very upsetting to me because I had planned so much on getting that grant for the tribe. But we did not get it. And I have here the full denial here, if anybody wants to read it. We got the lowest score, the grants are scored from 1 to 5. And we got the lowest score on every section of the grant by every reviewer. There's usually 4 reviewers that review those grants, and they're professional people who are well versed in museums, libraries, and they gave our grant the lowest score. Now that looks bad on the United UKB. It looks bad. And because I had 2 grants before with IMLS, they know me, they know my name. When I go to those ATOM conferences, they say, "Hi, Ernestine, how are you doing? How's that grant going?" You know. And I tell them, I talk to them, they know me. But when we sent in this grant, it was far beneath, apparently, what we are accustomed to sending in.
Okay.
And so we did not get the grant, and they're going to be saying, "Well, Ernestine, what happened to the grant? How come, so-and-so?" Well, my name was not on it, so I'm glad for that my name was not there. They know that I did not write that grant, didn't submit that grant, but we also did not get that grant. So the council, council, when somebody defies what you all say, there needs to be some kind of penalty or something happen. Nothing happened when he defied you and took away that grant and gave it to Marquana. Nothing happened.
Okay.
There was no reprimand or
I'm
anything.
not, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ernestine. Next, finance is Eldine Stevens, and her topic is finances. Ms. Eldine, you have the floor, and you have 4 minutes.
Thank you. I just have concerns that I want to voice before this council about where we're headed and what our income levels are. And I know from the treasurer's report that you all have funds, but you also are expending them. And I've heard in her voice the concern over the decrease in income that may be coming. And I think that's an important thing. But I also know that the corporate board is the one who is charged with providing funds for the tribe, not the other way around. But we are charged with trying to provide money to help the tribe run. Is that not true?
Yes.
Okay.
When you build businesses and you can provide, also provide general welfare and better way of life for
Right.
people.
Anyway,
Charters.
the whole idea is that we need to be responsible. The corporate board needs to be responsible for doing this. Ultimately, it is on the corporate board to do those kinds of things. And the corporate board needs to submit a monthly profit and loss statement. You all, for the last 2 months, I've been giving you all in your email, I've been forwarding that information for the corporate board. I'm not proposing anything, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just trying to make you aware that this group as a whole and the tribe as a whole may be in very difficult financial situations before long. I sent you last month an email that I received from the accountant for the corporate board, where she said, and if you read it, it says that her estimation is that we have enough money in the corporate board to run maybe to the end of December if we don't spend any more. That's alarming to me, and I put that in my email that I sent to you. I don't know how many of you read it, but you need to go back and find it and look at it, because that is alarming. If the corporate board can't support itself, how is it going to support the tribe? And that's difficult. I think there needs to be some really good come to Jesus meetings on the corporate board and how we are dealing with things and what we are doing and what we need to be doing and what needs to happen. I don't have all the answers. All I have done is dig up the problem for you. But I know one thing, if the corporate board falls through and the council gets to where we can't afford to do even what we're doing now, you all are going to be the ones that gets the blame out there in the community. So I want to make you aware of it. And I am willing to help and do anything I can, but we need to get serious about this and not just have a shotgun approach to how we handle business. We've got to focus, we've got to concentrate on one or two things that are very vital businesses that we can work on and get something done and get something going and stop this business where we've got, I made a list this morning of just the things I could remember from the top of my head of things that people have brought us, tried to get us to invest in. This is a waste of time. We need to decide what we need to do and get it done. And that's all I know.
Thank you. Thank you, Obi. The last one, the sign-in sheet, we have on-way locust. And I believe it is just, her topic is just miscellaneous.
Joyce, I'm gonna forego that.
Okay. Okay, and with that, I respect, thank you. On-way, she will not present.
Is that the last one?
Yes.
I have something I want to say or read with public forum. Assistant Chief, would you give these to the council, please? These are statements that the directors wrote up, and they are labeled hostile and intimidation interviews. And council, would you please make sure you read these? Make sure you read these. And I've got something I'm going to read. So for over a year now, since our EDTO started, he's been subject to harassment. The chief has insisted on hiring someone else to take his place. The chief at one point fired EDTO, and he was sent to jail. Most recently, the chief and Charles Smoke bullied their way into an interview process. And we just heard about that from one of the directors. The directors felt that this was harassment enough to warrant writing up statements. That's how much the chief wants to rid of this present EDTO. The chief tried to bully this HR person to interview a person that is less than desirable in his position. The EDTO has done much for the tribe, and some examples are getting housing on the right track. Before that, we didn't have anything in housing that was going on. So now we're building elderly cottages, right, Frank?
Yes. Hey, remember, a little over a year, they had 4 programs, now we have 10.
We have 10. Yeah, well,
12,
yeah. And we're building family homes and so much more that we're doing. We now have 12, as Teresa said, different areas we help in housing. He also was able to get employee benefits, health benefits. He has sent his directors to train so they can learn their individual grants and budgets, and has made it possible that they can see their own budget, which they weren't able to do that before. And per accounting policy, which is what accounting was supposed to be doing all the time, they never did show their directors their budgets. That's just a few of his accomplishments. One of the former EDTOs took advantage of the tribe, giving himself a $10,000 raise. And Cliff, we know who that was, don't we?
Okay,
For a bonus? No.
let's go.
For starting up a loan business. What a joke. When our present EDTO has been trying to get ahead for the tribe. And please remember, these investigations that lady started are not over yet. So it may be that EDTO can still sue someone or someone.
Don't forget about him defying you, council.
It seems that there are a few on the council, a few I said, not everyone, that don't want the tribe to succeed. Joe, Teresa, Charles, what is it you have against Sean? Why are you wanting to get rid of him? Someone who is diligently
He's not
working
qualified.
for the tribe. That's just one.
Not
I want an answer.
qualified.
You want to rate
Order,
this?
Some of the
Here we go.
council
Rate this?
and people, some of these council and people probably want to know why the chief wants to get rid of this EDTO.
Look at his criminal record.
And why he supports a rapist?
What about Sean's criminal record?
That's
You
that's
see it?
that's
Well,
my
I'd rather have that than a rapist.
Okay, here we go. Order.
Okay, I'm
All right.
finished.
You're
I'm
done.
finished.
All right.
Nobody answered why.
No one answered why, that's right.
Do I need to answer that? Council?
Yeah, go ahead.
No? Okay.
I thought we weren't supposed to.
That's not public forum there. That's somebody bringing an issue. That's all that is.
I'm finished.
Okay?
Didn't take me 4 minutes.
Okay?
Thank you, Elaine, and that is it for public forum.
Okay, new business.
Are these ours to have, passed out? Yep, oh, read them. Okay, I haven't read them. I'm
Here.
finished.
Let's go on. New business.
Council, under item H on the agenda is new business. And we'll go enter into number one, which, I attached to your corporate agreement that the Attorney General has emailed to me. And the item number one under new business is to read council discussion to vote to approve or disapprove to enter a corporation agreement with the Board of Commissioners of Rogers County. And that is the submission under the Housing and the Attorney General. Okay, I don't know what is the agreement.
Question? That's the agreement here, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's what the housing attorney came up with, and she does this for a lot of tribes, housing departments. It's for payment in lieu of taxes to the county, so you can work with the county on certain housing projects. And housing may know more about it than I do.
What that does is it allows us to pay $124 per unit instead of the property taxes.
Right.
So it makes it cheaper, and that's how we're treated as a housing authority because of the federal money. So that's what that is. We need one of those in place. And up till now, we've been paying the taxes, which we should not have been doing.
I make a
That's what it
motion
says,
that we approve
150.
this agreement.
Go up 100.
Second.
Okay, you will have to repeat those, I can't hear from you. Sorry. Motion,
Adeline
Adeline,
made the motion.
okay.
Clint, is that something that you're working with
I'm-
her on that? Are
Can you
you
say-
working with Amanda on that as
Yes,
well? Okay.
yes.
Okay, council, we have a motion and a second by Adeline and a second by Ellen to approve item number 1 under new business. And I will call for vote. Eddie is absent. Clint?
Yes.
Ellen?
Yes.
Adeline?
Walker.
Frankie?
Yes.
Willie? I vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Charles? Mary is absent. Teresa? Okay, council chief, motion carried.
Okay, I got something on Central on housing deal. I heard the people are writing down their, like a log or something where they help and stuff for HUD. Is that right?
Writing down what?
Their log when they get in their truck, go to a business and buy it.
Oh, yeah, there, yeah.
Is that's just to get more, just to let HUD know that, okay?
See,
Why
everything,
won't they use GPS instead of writing it all down? Because,
Let's buy it, that's a good idea.
because, you know, they might, the HUD might think, hey, they're budgeting on this on here, you know, so.
Or they run down your mileage.
Oh, they do that anyway, don't they, when they get in the truck?
I didn't see that form, but I remember when that email was sent out to the employees, because a lot of times, whenever they went to, say, a house in, Stillwell, to go evaluate what the problem was. Well, they didn't come back for 3 or 4 hours, so
Oh,
it
that-
didn't take that long to do that.
So that's what that GPS will tell you, and they can get a printout. And that way they'll know exactly where they go. If they went to a house and the member wasn't there, and they say, yeah, we went to the house, and then the member says, no, nobody showed
No,
up.
they're supposed to make arrangements for
Right.
that member to be there,
Exactly.
yeah. But they don't go unless that member.
It says that they got a six sign. They go up there.
How, if they're not there,
The-
Unless there's an emergency and the worker is going out there and the people know that they're coming, then otherwise then they won't go.
The department has discussed that, and actually we're taking bids on that. So it's probably something we'll do.
Alright. Item number 2.
Okay, council, the new business. We'll go into item number 2, which is reading. Council discussion to vote to approve, disapprove a forensic audit to be conducted by Hyde Bailey firm of Gen Fund, January 2013 through February 2016. Casino, January 2013, February 2016. And corporate board, February 2016 to December 2018. The submitter was Assistant Chief Thompson.
I got a question on that. Who's gonna pay for this? If it passes?
We're already paying for it right now, but not done it. This is my resolution, I'd like to open the discussion. We just heard two lifelong members of our tribe talk about our financial situation here and defiance. This resolution was passed earlier in the year, and then it was brought back up, and then by breaking the tie vote by chief, it went back into dormancy and then passed again. After what I just heard here from the treasurer, and she made a very valid point about the financial situation our tribe's in. This week, I had to do some investigation for all these people sitting out here. They're uninformed about what's going on in our financials. And so we have an audit, an annual audit, that should be completed by June 30th every year for our federal programs. And right here is a letter that we received. Now, you just heard about the housing, all the fine things we're getting ready to do for our people. That's getting ready to come to a halt due to this audit not being complete for funding. Right here's a letter we received from the HUD and stamped June 20th, 2018, wanting to know, July 20th, wanting to know why our audit was not complete. It's a letter of warning. Now, the chief got on the phone with them, and I understand he got it straightened out, that we would have this audit complete by the 30th of August. So, out of concern from the executive director of tribal operations, came to my office, and he said he's been asking for the indirect cost proposal rate earlier. He contacted the chief about that, because that has a lot to do with our grants. That rate has to be known of, and that, so I started doing an investigation. I called the company that's doing the indirect cost rating proposal, is Finley and Cook. Talked to them, and that was sent out in August the 7th, I believe. They sent that out to the chief, so he knew that one. But also, I called the auditing company. It was chosen back in, I think it was December or sometime when we had this, and said, I want to know the status of our audit. It's supposed to have been completed by the August 30th. Unbeknownst to me and all of you, the audit hasn't even been started yet. I said, you got to be kidding. And they said, no. I said, well, what's the holdup? It's our accounting department. It's the holdup. I said, could you send me an outline disclosing what is the problem? Now, I received the emails right here. Now, we just heard about the corporate board and all that stuff. And so bringing this up is why it's imperative that we vote this resolution in today. And we followed through with this several months ago, then we'd know where all this funding is taking place. Let me read some emails to you here. This is number one, on August 2nd, which is over a month ago. This is from the auditing company. Hi, Vanessa. I just wanted to check with you since this was last week with the scheduled field work. I understand that we are still waiting on the final trial balance, which we need to help determine the materialities, major funds, and etc. So we really cannot start the financial statement audit until we have it. Is there something that is holding that up? Or can you provide us with what you have and provide subsequent adjustments later, provided there aren't any? Before we can schedule any more field work, we need to be sure to have the trial balance. I believe Ron has some availability in August, but we are almost fully scheduled in September and October through October 15th, and wouldn't be able to come back until late October or November if we cannot make the August dates work. So our accounting department immediately emailed her back at 4:46. Well, this one was sent out on the Times over here. You can't deny all this stuff. She says, we will be working through the weekend. This is on August 2nd. The goal is to final the trial balances on Monday, August 6th. So August 6th, the accounting company checks back. Hi, Vanessa and Jamie. I just wanted to check in on this and see when we needed to try to schedule some more time. Number 4. This one was from Chief Bunch. Good afternoon, Vanessa. Same day, August 6th. So obviously they must have contacted the chief and said, we need to send these people something. He said, we're having a telephone conference with Mr. Sims, who is the HUD director in the state of Oklahoma, and the staff from the Southern Plains office to discuss the lateness of our audit. Can you give an expected or suggested date of completion to our audit? Thank you. Number 5, she emails the chief back that same evening, about 8:09 looks like. As of today, we still haven't received the trial balance. This is on August 6th, whenever they said they would have it done, to be able to fully start the audit. Without receipt of the trial balance, I'm not sure when we will be able to complete the audit. We were scheduled to work on it past 2 weeks, and we were able to perform some limited procedures, but we need the full trial balance. I'll send you the communication on the status that I was hoping to finalize today before communicating to you, which I had planned to do either this evening or tomorrow. Anything you can do to help get it ready for us would be greatly appreciated. We are fully booked for September and most of October, and it will be difficult to put a lot of time into this from 9/1 to 10/15 if we cannot get it done in August. This is on August the 6th. So that right there is the communication. So she forwarded this to me, and I contacted her by phone last Tuesday to find out what the status was. Because as I just got through stating, these programs that the housing committee has been diligently working on, and all of our housing employees are going to be held up. So the services to our tribal members are going to be held up. And so it's important. Here's another one just got received yesterday. Well, let me go back. Let me finish up here. I contacted her, and she sent this to me Friday, yesterday. It says, I received your information. He indicated, from Jason Olson, he indicated that you would like the status of the audit. Note that the email below explains little about the status so far. I have also included my email to Chief Bunch when he inquired of the audit. They go on and say here that on-site, okay, Robert Kirk, the Senior Audit Manager in Engagement, and I went on-site and met with Vanessa Hanson and Jamie Johnson about timing, logistics, and etc. on May 15th. And agreed to fill work during the weeks of July 23rd and July 30th to start an audit. We need the final trial balances, general ledger amounts. We need these to be able to set materiality limits and have final numbers in order to apply the proper audit procedures. However, the trial balances were not available to us during those weeks, so we ended up spending very little time on the audit. That's in July when he came. We let them know in advance that we were fully booked in September, as I heard what I read through there a while ago, and we'll not be able to work if we don't get to work in August. We would have to wait until after the 15th of October. We received the trial balance on Tuesday, September the 4th, the same day that I contacted him. But Robert and I don't believe that it is complete set of trial balances. Our 2 staff members are out this week, and they are more familiar with the trial balances and can look at that next week to see if it appears we have everything we need to start. However, again, we will just have to work on it during evenings and weekends to get some samples out to the UKB staff so they can be better prepared for us when we come back to do the work. I know the accounting staff is very understaffed, creating a lot of delays, but our next concern is we'll be making sure that the UKB staff keeping up with the audit requests and questions when we are on site. This is why we hope to get some requests to them before October the 15th. So, in summary, we need to complete the complete set of trial balances from them in order to start the audit, but cannot commit to full weeks in audit time until after the 15th deadline of October. We will do our best to delegate to other staff in our office if they are available and have limited time to work with this audit detail. But we need to expect significant process after October. I will let you know as soon as we can determine if we have the full set of trial balances or not, but unfortunately that will not be until Monday. I got this yesterday. We just received another grant notification, National Forest Service, $43,000 yesterday. It says, good morning, National Park Service. Very happy to inform you that our proposal for Tribal Heritage Grant has been selected. We are very excited to be working with you on your preservation project. We will be calling and emailing today detailing the grant requirements along with your grant agreement. The grant agreement must be signed and returned by next week. to the end of the fiscal year, let me know if this will be an issue. Please acknowledge that you have received this email. Our preservation officer sent her back. Says, thank you, Madeline. The United Katuah Band is excited to have the opportunity to receive this funding, and we'll look forward to working with the National Park Service. We can get everything you need as soon as we receive the agreement. Now, she sends back to our officer, before I can complete your grant agreement, I need a complete risk assessment. Apparently, the tribe is overdue in submitting their single audit. Can you please check with your financial office and see where they are in the process and give us a status on it and why it is delayed? As soon as I can get that, I can go forward and just make me the special condition in your agreement to the audit. So she sends this out and says, can anyone help with this information? We've got to give them obviously an excuse. So these are just a couple of things that I need to point out why this forensics audit of our general fund, and as you heard Eldine say that the corporate board, I've included that. I've been hollering for this for a long time because it's been suggested that the corporate board is, not doing what they're supposed to do. And we've been working diligently trying to promote businesses, and with what very limited funds we started out with, which was about $25,000. And Chief was the chairman at that time, so he knows where we had to start and where we are today. And we, so I think this needs to be passed. And today, when we vote on this, I'm proud to say that we're all on candid camera. So I want you to smile when you vote, so your constituents can see how well they're being represented here. That's all I got to say.
I have a question. So for these grants, for us to be able to get these grants, they need that you, they kept saying single audit. So do they mean for just the past 12 years, 12 months? The past 12 months? Yeah.
The one that's delayed right now hasn't even been started.
Okay.
All of our grants are in jeopardy.
Well, let me finish. But
They're in jeopardy.
what you're saying is a forensic, which that's everything. But I would like to, take care of the small picture there, and then discuss what you have on here.
Yeah, that's why I'm not clear of what item we're talking about. This is completely different than he's talking about.
Yeah, because he said.
That's a physical.
I'm just pointing out to you.
I understand.
Some
I
reasons
understand
why we need to do this.
So what you just read to us requires a single audit, which means 12 months. The past 12
Requires
months.
our federal audit that we're not even got started, what I read here. But it's all tied together. You'll be able to find out where all the funding has been and where it's gone, and then we can straighten this mess out. It's crucial, people. To these people sitting out in here, we need to get this done.
Yeah, so basically, we're all gonna pay for it.
Absolutely.
Basically.
And remember, this is the second time in a row. Last year.
Let's find out where we're at
Exactly.
and start
That's
and
right.
get right.
Exactly.
How about that? How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Call for a vote, Chief.
If I can have the floor before we go to vote. Last November, December, somewhere in there, we voted on bringing in a new accounting firm. A couple of things happened with that. It set a chain reaction in motion. That, one, they learned that we knew all the terms and conditions of the audit changed. Now, the new firm, E.D. Bailey, comes in, and their terminology and their technical writing and so on is a little bit different than the one that we had. True. Took a little time to get used to their terminology and move this thing forward, this project forward. It wasn't us
That
that
shouldn't be an
delayed.
issue for an accounting person, though.
That's right.
What the issue was this firm said, because you got it in late, we're not gonna start until the fall. That was one issue.
Well,
The second issue behind that was that the information that was requested for the audit, we were late in getting it to. But it wasn't all of the federal government's portion of it all that was late. It was the stuff coming from the corporate board. They had to have those numbers in as well to account for all the money, so to speak. So that's where we're at. So don't blame any of that.
Corporate board has nothing to do with this federal program.
No, you're.
That's true. It does not have anything to do with it, but it's still accounted for in that audit.
No, you're afraid it isn't something down here you shouldn't be.
And Joyce, wasn't it in July when we went to see those girls and Edie Bailey was there trying to get these things from those accounting employees?
Told them right there in May what they need to have.
I said, yes, let's get it done.
From May to July.
They
had to
still
find
didn't
the
have
trial
it
balance.
done.
I'm not accountant, but I know what trial balance is.
So who makes accounting accountable? Who makes accounting accountable?
They were on site in July, when you and I went up there.
Joyce is an on-site. And then at that time, also we had to do a 401K audit. So I took out the treasurer up there at that time as well, so I should let her know that this is what needs to be added on. And since I Bailey was already doing the single audit, and they did that as well, we went on ahead and asked them to do the 401K as well.
To do them both and go ahead
This
and
is
get it done.
serious, Joe.
It is.
Very serious.
It's really serious.
And I don't understand why you got those your accounting staff, they're under you, they answer to you only. Why have you not gotten this done? It's detrimental to our tribe, our future. And what you have neglected to do is hurting the future, and you're a leader.
You're all our leaders. You're all our leaders. You voted
But we're
to
your
change
subordinates
auditors.
when
You
it's.
voted to change
That has
auditors.
nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
That has everything to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
No, you won't let.
They were
anybody
there to
else
start.
Tell those, your employees to do their job.
Maybe we need to bring in an accounting people.
Absolutely.
Right.
Hey,
It's more than just that. It's
We've allowed you
everybody.
to cover for those, for your staff, all these months. We've allowed it. It's too, we're almost too late now. But you know what? You need to let those girls go. They're under you. You need to let them go. They're not doing their job. They're hurting the tribe.
Yes.
It's everyone. It's not just those girls.
No.
It's everybody associated.
No, you're wrong.
It is.
You're blaming everybody else what they get paid to do.
I'm saying.
They get paid to do that job and they're not doing it. And now you're saying it's everybody's fault? Hey, chief, be a chief.
Hey,
And you
council,
are the
open
one
your
that
eyes.
signs.
Look what's going
You
on.
are the one, you're the chief that signs for them to get it done. When did you sign it? Did you get it in? The signature
What are you talking?
to allow them to do it, the audits to do it. When did you get that in? A month ago. A month
I
ago.
just got it a month ago.
No, you knew the audit was coming
Where's that?
before a month ago.
Where's your memo that says, did I give you
No,
a
as
letter
a
of
chief, you
engagement?
should know what is
Please obey.
required to keep the tribe going.
Okay.
What the,
Yeah.
what audit are we
I
talking
think
about?
what they're
Fiscal year
referring to.
Single audit for fiscal year 2017.
2017.
It was due
June 30th.
June 30th.
6 months after.
And it came before us back then, and it was late, the letter, it was stamped in July.
So this is different than this resolution.
It's different.
That's why we need an audit.
So we need a resolution for this 2017 fiscal year.
No, that's already
It hasn't even started.
Wake up.
This is separate from the resolution.
This resolution I've got here is a forensics audit that's going to clear up. It's like I said, we call it our Jesus audit. Jesus says, I make all things new. And he does. Let's make all things new.
So the most important item is 2017.
The whole thing. The whole thing.
now is doing the 2017 audit. This stuff, this is an added
This is
burden
needed. This has been
onto
needed.
our revenue generated.
This will clear up the corporate board and all the questions he said right there about the corporate board. It's our fault. Let's get it on.
Let's do it.
Let's see the general fund. The casino has never had a closing audit. Never had a closing audit on the casino. Never. I told that to the Office of Tribal Justice in Washington D.C. and they like to faint it. That young lady was sitting right there beside me when I told them that.
Yeah.
They said, "You've never done a closing audit on your casino when you got closed?" I said, "No, they haven't." People, it's imperative that we start acting like a tribe.
Millions of dollars unaccounted for.
Did you tell them that the treasurer, the council member at the time, and myself looked at that, and there was nothing that we found?
But you're not an accountant. And it has, you have to have a
You
closing.
can follow up.
This right here will clear it all up. This will clear up the question right here. Let's vote. Call for a vote.
That's an additional charge, additional cost. Are we prepared to take that?
I make a motion right now that we get a forensic audit.
I second it.
How much is it gonna cost? How much money are we talking about spending?
$25,000 to start. We're wasting more money.
And they voted before, and they voted.
Not for a year.
They voted that you know right now.
We're gonna lose.
That's what I've been saying. We can't afford not to get this
That's
done.
right.
Who seconded it? Okay, thank you.
Put that camera on all.
So are you saying it's 25,000 per year?
No.
No.
We've
For this audit?
already got the bids from my baby and everybody else to do it. That was already in place.
You have the
I
bid.
know, I haven't.
No.
And you should know. 25, I mean, I'm just trying to figure this in my head because, right now we have elder checks coming up. We have, gift cards for the kids.
Who voted for elder checks?
So, that's.
We don't want people to have nothing.
And the only thing I'm concerned is the single audit. That's what I'm really concerned about right now.
I'm concerned about all of
Because
it.
one thing that was brought up in my meeting is someone asked, because someone brought up the forensic audit, and someone said, well, what purpose is this forensic audit? And the person said, or what are you gonna do when you get it? And she said, well, we're gonna prosecute. She said, well, who are you gonna prosecute? She said, you know, these people that you're going after are no longer with us. So, I mean, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But I am all for the single audit.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely needs to be.
That's taking place.
It's already in place. Once they get the trial balances, if they get the trial balances, then the single audit's gonna start. I just read to you what they're needing.
So, trial balances,
That's not this.
Do this right here, the motion been made and seconded.
The reason why he brought up the audit for the single audit is to support his request for the.
To
for the
show
overall audit.
you the incompetence of our accounting department. That's what I brought that up for, to show you how incompetent, you are. It's nothing personal. I've been saying this since I got in here. We've got to get this done, people. Now we're almost, I don't need to say more about this.
It's gonna hold, what the assistant chief just said. It's not only gonna show accounting, it's gonna show all the directors out there.
That's right, they
What was
They're not
that at the
afraid,
beginning?
most of them aren't afraid.
what are you afraid of?
We had an EDTO that was supposed to be over there as well.
You're leading, you're
Excuse me.
misleading. You said that.
As-
He's misleading you all.
Excuse me, as a director, what is the concerns of mismanagement, or is that what we're insinuating, that there's some concerns as directors of mismanagement of our funding?
It's been shown that, yes.
I am working off of a budget that is supplied to me to a bare minimum by our accounting department. Since I came in February, I've asked for solid numbers. And I have the documentation of a solid budget number to work with. I have nothing to hide in an audit to ask me and provide me with what budget I am working with so I can continue to provide services to our people.
That was my comment. Most of our directors
That's why
would
you
be
need to
afraid of
vote
it.
yes.
But what has that got to do with the federal funded program? What's that got to do with this? Nothing. You're misleading. Yes. You're misleading when you said that, Joe.
Call for a vote. The TV goes, smile, you don't catch the camera. Nobody wants to ditch us. You have your vote, people you represent.
Okay, here we go.
I got a question, so this will affect the possible elder checks and children's gift cards?
Possibly.
No, I don't think so.
There won't be anything left, give anybody anything, if we don't get this done.
We don't know how much money we have.
Well, since we're talking about money, we're talking about financial transactions. Treasurer, what do you have to say about this? Because you're the, you just got through saying that.
Get it on, let's vote.
No, I'm just
I know how those girls are up there, those employees.
why are you calling them employees? They should have been under your supervision.
They should have.
That's another issue.
Who's your supervisor?
She missed my whole point.
But you've been a tribal council member all this time. Why haven't you advocated for her, for the girls to be under her?
So,
She didn't want supervision of them. She said that out loud.
Hang on just a second.
That's only because she tried to do what's right. But as a director, when I ask a county a question, they CC Joyce. I don't
Anyway.
CC Joyce, I CC the treasurer and Mr. Thompson.
by funding this audit, it'll kind of go into fund for the elders and kids. right?
Well, let me say this, what, we don't know what they about, we don't know how much money we do have. We don't know if we have money for that anyway.
You did it, yeah.
Do we
Well,
have
what
money?
about our report we just
What
got?
about audit?
Do we know that this is right?
I don't know, you're the treasurer.
Do we know that it's right?
I don't know, I'm not the treasurer, you are.
Well, this is the report we get from those employees, right? It says we have $494,000.
Exactly.
Now, is it right or not? I don't know, we all don't know.
I'm not the
We
treasurer.
all don't know, let's find out
But
if
you're the
it is.
treasurer, that's my point, you're the treasurer.
Job to know.
Let's find out if it
Okay,
is.
hold on.
Vote yes.
Order, here we go. General fund is respect for that and providing those money in, okay?
No, this
Say that
is
again.
audit, we want an audit. Y'all got $400-something, take $25,000 out, that's what you know now. Take $25,000 out of that $400-something. That's all we want.
What's the cost on it?
$25,000.
Start, is that just a start or?
That's all, I don't know, I can't answer that. They've got,
Is that just a start?
We have a motion and a second, let's vote.
Just like you said, our constituents can see how we're gonna vote.
That's fine with me.
We want an audit.
Like I said, I support the single audit to get those grants, but the forensic audit, I mean, because it didn't work last time.
We have to have a single audit.
But you wanted it last time, Bruce.
Required to get there. That's
That's
mandatory.
because you voted against it.
They haven't even started yet because they haven't provided trial balances. If they can't do that, that means they can't do a lot of things. We need to do this to find out.
That's right.
Call for a vote.
As a constituent, we
no
want you
more
to vote
questions,
yes.
no more questions, here we go.
You're not my only constituent, though.
Well, how many of
I
us?
have some here.
Hold on.
I have some here, but I have another.
Call for a vote.
But
I have another
There's all your constituents.
out there.
we want water.
by Jamie, a second by Adeline, and I will call for vote. Eddie is absent. Cliff?
No.
This is not something that's why.
I never got an answer.
Elamine?
Question.
Yes.
Didn't have any access to money.
Yes.
Adeline?
Yes.
Frankie?
Yes.
Willie?
No.
I'm gonna go back and ask again, and I'm sorry, so we're gonna look at the cost, the beginning cost from the gym fund. So when we go into the budget meeting, that will be included, right? Elaine, reference to cost, when we go into that, okay. I'll vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
So we're gonna look at the cost first, right?
Well, we're just.
We already know what the cost is.
We don't even have
The
a
start of
calculation
it.
cost.
I mean, that's all we know right now, but we don't know the,
What it will.
what's gonna be in the final.
We'll get the money someplace.
Yeah, it will, absolutely.
Where are we gonna get the money?
We'll borrow it.
Okay.
Well,
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? Mary? Oh, Mary's absent. Teresa?
I support the startup, but at some point, if we don't have money and we further down the line, we don't have money for the elder tax and for the kids at Christmas, and then if it comes to a halt, then if it has to come to a halt in order for our kids and our elders to be serviced, because a lot of times they're the ones that always get left out, then my vote is yes. Yes.
And like I said back in February, I want to put part of my stipend back in if that's what it takes.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean it.
Yeah.
I mean it, Charles.
I said yes.
Okay. Council under yes, we have 7. Under no, we have 1, 2, 3. Motion
Okay, item number 3.
Okay, council, under item new business, number 3, reads, council discussion to vote to disapprove that all regular, part-time, contract, or temporary tribal employees for all departments of the tribe report to the executive director of tribal operations without exceptions. The submitter of this one is the chief constable.
This is my resolution. I'll open discussion on this. I think we just got through sitting here hearing about 100 reasons why this needs to be voted yes. There was questions about who's got the control over the accounting office. Who has control over it? Right now, I think it's the secretary, which probably shouldn't be. Every successful organization, government operation, we looked at one just the other day. I explained to you about the Potawatomi. They have one person that all the employees have to go through. They're all going in one direction. Right now, we have some under the chief, we have some under the secretary. You know, this is not only for the tribe's sake, but it's also for those employees' sakes. What if God forbid, one of the people that are over these, the administrator, was to pass away? Who would be their immediate supervisor? They'd have to go, because there wouldn't be no supervisor. What if they got impeached? What if you guys impeached me? I had somebody under you guys impeached me. What would that employee have to go with me? So I say that this needs to be done. This is what our Constitution says. It's unconstitutional to have employees not under the executive director of tribal operations. The Constitution says put somebody in there to run daily operations, oversee this. So all employees should come under the director, whoever that director is, it doesn't matter. This is the way things are run successfully. We just got through hearing all kinds of arguments about who's over this, who's over that. This would eliminate all that. There'd be one person that this council could go to and say, you tell me why that accounting bunch has not got those balances done. We wouldn't have to be doing this. We talked to one person sitting there, be held on the hot seat. Then that person, whoever that would be, would have to be accountable for that. So there's my reason for putting this in. I've been studying this, watching this now for about 1.5 years. And I'm just telling you, I've never seen such a chaotic operation run as our tribe is, I'm sad to say. I make a motion that we do this today. Anybody want a second?
Second.
So it's still not open for discussion? Well, the only objection I had is, whenever I did try to get answers from our EDTO, I have to send 3 or 4 emails before I finally get an answer. So there has been some inconsistency with our EDTO. That's the only thing I have to say.
Anybody else?
Well, I just have one, right here on there, you have without exception. The department, or I'm not even gonna say the enrollment department, the staff under there, just by this protocol for years was under the secretary. So if this passes, does that mean the registrar will be under the
Supervision of the EDTO, and you can go to the EDTO when you need something, or if there's a problem. He or she, whoever that might be, was going to be responsible.
And I don't think
That's
any elected
unconstitutional.
people.
May I have a word here? That is unconstitutional. The Constitution says the secretary is in charge of enrollment. And in the same vein, she is in charge of her own staff to see that they do what they're supposed to do. And it's also unconstitutional for the EDTO to have broad power over everybody, because the chief is constitutionally the administrator of the tribe. That's what the Constitution says. If you don't believe it, get it out and read it. That's what it says. The chief is the administrator of the tribe. And putting the staff of the secretary, the enrollment, under the EDTO, it will not work. It should not be that way. Constitutionally, it is not right. And the chief is over the EDTO, period, by the Constitution.
Why wouldn't it work though? Why wouldn't that not work?
It's not constitutional.
Well said, thank you. It's
Well,
not
I
constitutional.
don't think any.
You guys need to
I don't
adhere
think
to the
any of the
Constitution.
elected people
Please adhere
should
to the
have
Constitution.
be over
That's all I ask.
I don't think any elected person should be over any employee. We are all elected. We shouldn't be.
No.
We
Well,
shouldn't be
you
the
may think
employee's
that,
boss.
Elma, you may think that, but that's contrary to what the Constitution says. That is unconstitutional. Yes, the chief is over the administration of the tribal business, and that's what the Constitution says. If you don't like it, then maybe we ought to have it changed. But that, for right now, that's what it says.
All right, thank you. Additionally, nearly one tribe may have everything under the EDTO. But as you heard, constitutional, there's some provisions that disallow it.
So it's only the one with the enrollment? What about the light wars and what about accounting and all that?
Exactly. Those would come under the administration as well.
Absolutely.
What about,
Those are tribal functions.
how about community service?
Yes.
So everything needs to be under Joe?
That's a federal program.
Absolutely, yes. Including the EDTO would be under Joe, at Joe's direction. Hey, people, he was elected.
Look at the result, of what kind of shape we're in, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's because of the
That's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting some different results.
Things change.
he has, what is it, he had an opportunity to
We earned that together, not just one individual.
No, it's not. It's not gonna last.
Okay, you got a motion made and second.
That's time to go fire. Put it back in.
All right, have a motion. Item number 3. That's right, Elaine. Call for vote. Katie is absent. Will? Elaine?
Yes.
Adeline?
Yeah.
Frankie?
Well, under the Constitution, it said that, you know, what Christine said. And I was told, you never go wrong if you follow the Constitution. So
Right.
I'm gonna vote no.
Willie?
No.
I vote no. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? Mary is absent. Teresa?
No.
Okay. Under yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Under no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the motion fails.
Okay, thank you. That's it? All right. Executive sessions?
I have something, but I'll just ask it right now. Clint, do you have the definition of an employee that we can go ahead and add? Do you mind to read that off, and then we can go ahead and take a vote on that so it can be included in our employee handbook? And I apologize because I was going to bring up the maternity leave for, paid maternity leave for employees, but my laptop crashed, all my stuff is on my other laptop, so when I get it back, then I can bring it back up again. So I apologize, I don't have that other stuff. I know you're so disappointed. No, I can't, that's too much. Okay, but he does have something that
Definition of employee?
yeah,
Definition for an employee.
of an employee, yes, because that's not included in our employee handbook.
Right.
Is that not what HR does?
Yes.
But in our, I understand you saying that in our HR policy, there's not a definition for employees. Maybe we should have one for contractors.
It's in there?
What is it?
Yeah,
But the employee is paid.
not just employee, it's nothing's in there, nothing at all. Let's be a start.
Okay.
Do you have it planned?
Well, the simplest definition of an employee is a person employed for wages or salary, especially at his non-executive level. So you could say a person employed for wages or salary by the tribe is an employee. Would that cover everyone you're trying to cover?
Say that one more time, please.
A person employed for wages or salary by the tribe is an employee, or an
So
employee is.
that means like, as long as they're getting a check from the tribe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, independent contractors would also get checks from the tribe, but you don't owe them the same duties as you do employees necessarily.
Yeah.
This would only apply to,
Or the same benefits.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
This wouldn't apply to independent contractors. It would apply to people who get paid an hourly rate as an employee or a salary from the tribe.
I don't know, what do you think, council?
We bring that up, was it all together?
Do what?
You send that to us? all?
Yeah, you want, I can send it to you.
I think the HR committee needs to present it at the next council meeting of what they want in a resolution form, how they want the HR handbook to be changed.
That's a good
We
idea.
don't have an HR
We
committee.
don't have,
Then,
We have an advisory committee and I'm on it, but I'm the only one. Well, I know you guys are the ones that wanted me, that's all. I'm just saying, me and my HR person, has had to do since I've been on here, so.
See, there's actually several things people have proposed to be amended in our personnel policies. So I'll put those all together in a red line and then email everyone at council so you can see what the changes would be. Is that, if that's okay?
Secretary.
That's fine, yeah. And then can we just do it all at the same time? When we do, okay, that's fine.
All right, we have item number 9, executive session. Call for executive session.
We're going to have one?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Item number 10, announcements.
Now, our district, the meeting is second Thursday, which is what, 12th or 13th, I think.
Same place, same time.
Housing wants your guys' room stuff by Monday if you can. So if you can bring up to 4 people for one room. And if you want smoking or non-smoking, Roxy sent out the email.
All
Because
right,
we wanted that by
never
Monday.
mind.
I can get the email, I don't know where she
Okay,
sent it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. I have an announcement, I don't know if it's an announcement or not.
Yes.
That grass needs to be baled again at that building.
Okay.
Before we get into sanitation or a thing
Okay.
posted out
We'll
there.
get that. Thank you for
We
that.
need to figure out what we're gonna do with that
Yours,
building.
I think.
Adeline, this one is yours again?
Second Thursday.
Are you still at that community center? Okay.
Okay. Did you make the motion to tear that building down?
Well, it's not my district, yeah, I can make a motion. I used it with her, but I haven't been used it. There's no water, there's no air, there's no anything. Yes.
It's not lit, it's the same lot.
Adeline, 6 o'clock.
Everybody okay?
Well, it's a drop of good.
That was the gaming commission, so we give it back to the tribe and move that office to top that.
I make a motion.
I'll
We have a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, no, that.
That's
It
what we're
is that, it is scary.
But at the same time,
How much land is there?
okay,
Maybe about 8
You know that American is through our typewriter.
Gary Springer in here. And that's what we all our members to see.
On video forever. I mean,
We're gonna make so many meetings live, it's not even.
yeah,
Well,
that's good. Actually, now that everybody can see it, maybe it'll.
More recent. If we let it just wear down over time, it may not qualify.
Not only that,
It's over time.
Clips, you know, like little gifs or whatever, of people saying something crazy.
Telecall Public Schools has those portable buildings.
They got heaters and everything already.
Area. Ask about it.
Well, we gotta see how much money we have.
personnel policy.
okay. Okay, council, here we go.
I want to make a point that the EDTO used his personnel policy to recommend our accounting department for not following rules. I mean, what they were supposed to have done on that audit, single audit. I want those employees to be recommended for not doing it.
I think that should go for all employees. Whenever there's a resolution passed, I think it should be for all employees.
The reason why I'm saying that is this audit is really hurting us for not being done. So therefore, something needs to happen Monday morning. Yes.
We're almost at the point where we need to
Well,
make a
like I said, I
CPA,
think
somebody,
it needs to
somebody
include all
recommended.
employees.
No, we're not.
Somebody recommended we need to make a
There was
CPA.
something that needs,
We've got a motion on the floor.
Let's get a vote on it, and then we can talk about that.
Actually,
Just as a side note, I did, get with Clint on, having something in our policy about employees not following resolutions
Okay.
or even directives from the council. So that'll be in next month.
Is it directives from the whole council?
Good point. All right, here we go.
From the council.
This is a vote in reference to the Salasol Old Gaming Building.
Yes.
Satellite office.
Yeah, it's to approve to demolish the old gaming commission building in Salasol, Oklahoma. The motion by Peggy, the second by Jamie. And I didn't put satellite office because the first, it was always been known as the old gaming, so strictly whatever.
You know what it's talking about.
Okay, Eddie is absent. Cliff?
Yes.
Ellamae?
Yes.
Adeline?
Yes.
Frankie?
Yes.
Willie?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy? Jamie?
Yeah.
Yeah. One man.
Mary is absent. Teresa?
So sad, but yes. That's how you think your part. Sometimes they have extra stuff like.
Okay. Council, earlier in the meeting, I had, read to you all these, since you have the copy in front of you, I would ask for number one, is it, for your consensus to approve to paint the rock with our UKB logo on it.
Yes.
And where is it going to be?
She's gonna bring it, to the satellite office, and if they go and shoot all the shots of their paintings, People Magazine will be coming to the tribe to see that.
No, so they're gonna paint the area?
I don't know.
They've just been painting rocks and they're gonna bring it, but they wanted approval to paint our logo on
Right,
the rock.
okay. I was wondering where they will put the rock, once they get it
Satellite
painted.
office.
Probably over there, I don't know if it's our main building around, I'm not sure. She didn't say, they just been painting rocks.
Okay, but, here in Talbot.
They can put it in that glass case right there if you want.
Okay. That'd be a
Okay.
good
They
place.
just wanted approval, they didn't wanna go and paint without their approval.
Yeah, I see it, I see it.
Motion, yes.
Okay, how about I just do a consensus?
Yeah.
Raise your right hand,
Yeah,
thank you.
unanimous.
Okay, number two is the one that Donald come out presented in public forum.
Glad you noticed that. I didn't even realize. I know it's not.
My comments to that would be, when we make the budget, when we attend the budget meeting, to
So we support a meeting with
Yeah, and hopefully we have a count of our veterans by then.
yeah, we should have.
Can we,
Yeah, me too.
All right,
are we talking about having like a line item for that?
yeah, that way you just, that way you know what it's like $100 a month, or.
We can see how,
Yeah, we know where that money's gonna go to, either have a hot dog lunch with all this gathering, this just started out.
Okay.
So all those things in approval, raise your right hand. Okay.
Okay, but, we have a resolution.
Hang on, one more on this.
I'm talking about the, what is it, the veterans, the logo. We have a resolution. I want to present to the council because, the flag and we've done some research on it. Yes, or still. So, let's do this resolution before we let these people start utilizing.
Okay, we'll entertain yours after I do those things.
But the resolution, we didn't submit it because I didn't finish it till after the 20th. So we have it ready for the next month's
Okay,
resolution.
and I'll let them know that, we got approval, but we have to have a resolution that's been requested of our actions.
Yes,
You can wait till
yeah,
after October.
Yeah.
And then wait till after October to paint, after October to paint.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, like I read earlier, our UKB celebration is gonna be on that first Saturday in October. As the usual request that I usually submit to the council is to move to that following Saturday. Does that still stand? You all agree to move?
Yeah, let's move. Let's be in Kenwood.
And it will be at Kenwood School? So where you want, the cafeteria? Okay. Okay, October 13th, council meeting has been approved by the council, and the location we already have will be at Kenwood Cafeteria. Okay. Thank you, council.
Okay, item number 9, dedication, no other announcements, no other new business.
My meeting is, hold on a second. 25th. And, the place will have to be, big announcements later.
What time will you need?
6 o'clock.
Thank you.
We're gonna meet on the Enid project. I have the PowerPoint presentation that we're gonna make. It's really nice. 20 slides. We're gonna let Randall, some of our people, do the presentation, but we need to be there. I've got it from the reliable source. It's the mayor, and everybody's excited about this. And they're waiting to see this PowerPoint. It's pretty nice to show what that part of the city looks like right now and what we can do to improve it. So I urge you to be there. The chief made it on the 17th.
17th, yes.
Now, if you can get there at 6 o'clock, we'll go over that. We'll have some input so we can prepare to meet them the next day, because they're gonna ask questions. There's one person on there that he won't accept it, don't make it near 20 dollars. But I like the challenge. And this part of the town is his district, so we're gonna improve his district. We'll see if he wants to turn it down and improve it in his side. That's all I want to say.
Wait, one more thing too, I want to say. I want a consensus that the chief stay out of EDTO's area and quit promoting this other
You can't
person.
do that, you can't do that.
No, he can't. He
It's
can
over
leave him alone.
everybody.
He can leave him alone and let him do
that.
his job
No, you can't do it.
and not promote that other person.
Jimmy,
The one we talked about.
You said we're going on the 18th.
18, he gave me his word, that's the
You
day.
said 17th.
The meeting for the preparatory meeting, 17.
council, you're at limitation.
Bow your heads.
Father, I pray, Lord, that you give each and every one here a safe travel and grace back to their families, Father. Father, and I ask, Lord, if there's anyone here, Lord, that has a need, and maybe a sickness, Father, I pray, Lord, that you heal and you provide, Father. Father, I just pray, Lord, that you just take care of us, watch over us, Father. It's in your name I pray this, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Make a motion.
Motion, second.